Hello everyone and a very warm welcome to another lesson. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you about modal verbs. Can, could, and be able to. But before I begin this lesson, I wish to welcome all the new subscribers. Thank you very much for subscribing to the channel. I hope that you will learn a lot from this lesson and all the other English lessons that I have uploaded. And for those who haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up if you find it useful. Thank you very much. Now, let us begin. Modal verbs are also called auxiliary verbs. There are different types of modal verbs, but in this particular lesson, we are only going to learn about can, could, and be able to. I will be uploading more videos about the other types of modal verbs that we have in English. Now, remember, modal verbs are also called auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs. For you to be able to do a test on modal verbs and pass it, or to be able to use modal verbs in your day-to-day life, which is even more important, there are certain rules that we have to follow. Rule number 1. Use can, could, and be able to indicate that someone is capable of doing something. To indicate or to show that someone can do something. Now, look at example 1 on the right. Jack is able to play the piano. That means that Jack can play the piano. He is able, he is capable of playing the piano. Sarah can speak English. So once more in that sentence, you're trying to indicate, you're trying to say that somebody can do something, that somebody is capable of doing something. Sarah can speak Spanish. Example C. I could swim when I was 6. I could swim when I was 6. So once more in that sentence, you are showing or you're explaining or you're stating that when you are 6 years old, you are able to swim. I could swim when I was 6. So in all those examples, in number 1, you can use can, could, or able to. Jack can play the piano. Jack could play the piano. Sarah can speak English. Sarah is able to speak Spanish. Okay? Now, let us look at rule number 2. Use can and could. Okay? Use can and could, not able to. Only can and could. Use can and could to indicate that something is allowed. When you're trying to explain to somebody that something is allowed, you can use can and could. Look at example 2a. The teacher said that we can use a dictionary. The teacher said that we can use a dictionary. So imagine that you're doing a test and someone asks you, why are you using the dictionary? Then you can say, the teacher said that we can use a dictionary. The teacher said that we can use a dictionary. So you want to make the other person know that you are allowed to use a dictionary. Look at example 2b. You could call me now if you have time. You could call me now if you have time. So you're letting the other person know that, hey, I'm allowing you to call me now. Okay? Maybe you are in a meeting, maybe you're in school, you have a lesson, and later on you check your phone and you see that you have a missed call from your friend So you can pick up the phone and tell the person who was trying to call you that you could call me now if you have time. You could call me now if you have time. Meaning that you're allowing the person to call you now because it is a good time. You have some free time to talk. Rule number 3. Use can, could, and able to indicate that something is possible. Look at example 3a. He should be able to finish this food. He should be able to finish this food. So imagine that you are serving food on the plate and then someone says to you, oh wow, that is a lot of food on that plate. You have put too much food for him. Then you can answer by saying, he should be able to finish this food, meaning that it is possible. It is possible for him to finish this food. It is possible for him to eat all the food on that plate. Look at example 3b. You can pass that exam if you work hard. You can pass that exam if you work hard. So once more, you're using can in that sentence to indicate that it is possible. Okay, if you work hard, it is possible to pass your exam. Example 3c. We could definitely see the tower from the beach. We could definitely see the tower from the beach. So we are using the word could in that sentence to explain that from the beach, it is possible to see the tower. From the beach, if you're sitting at the beach or maybe you're standing around there, it is possible to see the tower. We could definitely see the tower from the beach. Okay. Now, before I carry on to rule number 4, I have a very important tip for you. Never ever use can and be able to in the same sentence. Never ever use can and able to in the same sentence. It is grammatically wrong. For example, never ever say, I can be able to speak Spanish. No, that is wrong. Instead, you should say, I can speak Spanish, or I am able to speak Spanish. I am able to speak Spanish, but not I can be able to speak Spanish. That is wrong. You should never use can and able to in the same sentence. Now, let us move on to rule number 4. Use can, A, with the present tense. Okay? Use can with the present tense. And what I mean is that use can with verbs in the first or the basic form. That is the original form of the verb before it changes, like cook, eat, sleep, play, read. Okay? All those verbs are in the original form, in the first or the basic form. So use can with verbs in the first form. Look at example 4a. I can swim like a fish. I can swim like a fish. Look at example 1b. Sarah can speak Spanish. See, we are using can with speak. And speak is a verb in its original form. It's not speaks or spoke. No, it is speak. So use can with the present tense. Example 4 once more. I can swim like a fish. Look at the word swim. The verb swim is in its original form. It is not swam. No. The next example, you can answer the easier questions first. Answer. That is again a verb in its original form. So use can with the present tense. But the rest of the verbs, the rest of the auxiliary verbs, that is could and be able to, you can use them with the other tenses. Okay? Like for example, I could have written to you a letter. That is the past perfect tense. So we will see more about that towards the end. Now, rule number 4b. Use can at the beginning of a sentence to ask a question, but use please at the end. So when you want to ask a question, you can begin your sentence with the word can. But remember to use please at the end of the sentence, because then it is polite. When you don't use please at the end of the sentence, then it is a command. And you don't want to command anybody. It is rude. So use can to ask a question, but remember to use please at the end of the sentence. Look at example 4b. Can I come in, please? Can I come in, please? Can I come in, please? Okay, if you said, can I come in? It is a bit rude. Look at the next example. Can you shut the door, please? Can you shut the door, please? Can you shut the door, please? Now, if you only said, can you shut the door? Then that is a command. Okay? It is a command. You're bossing somebody. Can you shut the door, please? So always use please, unless you're speaking to your little sister or your little brother who has been annoying you the whole time by opening the door. And you started by asking her politely, can you shut the door, please? And they're not listening. Then when you really get angry, you can say to her, can you shut the door? Can you shut the door? Without the please, because you actually are giving her a command. But Otherwise, you should always ask a question beginning with can and end with please. Okay, let us move on to rule number 5. Use could A to indicate that something may be true or that something might happen. So we also use could to indicate or to show or to explain that something may be true or that something might happen. Look at example 5a. He could be our next prime minister. He could be our next prime minister. So maybe the elections in your country are taking place and there is a particular person who you think might win the elections. So you could say he could be our next prime minister. So it might happen. The next example, we could get into trouble for that. We could get into trouble for that. So once more, you want to show or to indicate or to say that, hey, we need to stop doing that because there is a chance that we might get into trouble. So use could to indicate that something may be true or that something might happen. The next rule, 5b. Use could to ask for something, okay? To ask for something. Remember, could is more polite than can. So when you want to ask for something, you want to ask somebody to do something for you, always begin the sentence with could because it is more polite than can. Look at example 5b. Could I talk to you, please? Could I talk to you, please? Now, when you use please at the end of the sentence, then you are even more polite. Could I talk to you, please? But if you said, could I talk to you? That is also polite. But if you said, can I talk to you? It's not polite at all. It's very rude. But if you said, can I talk to you, please? That is also polite. Okay? But when you really want to be polite, always ask people to do things for you. Ask for things. Begin the sentence with could and end it with please. The next example. Could you stop talking, please? Could you stop talking, please? But if you said, could you stop talking? That is also polite. But if you said, can you stop talking? That is very rude. Okay? But if you said, can you stop talking, please? That is polite. Okay. Rule number 5C. Use could with have plus the past tense of the verb to indicate that someone should have done something. So when you want to indicate, when you want to tell somebody that they should have done something, then use could plus have plus the past tense of the verb. Let us look at examples 5C. You could have warned me about it. You could have won't be about it. You could have won't be about it. So in other words, something bad has happened to you and your friend could have helped, but she didn't say anything or he didn't say anything. So you can say to them, you could have warned me about it. You could have warned me about it. Meaning, you should have given me a warning. You should have done it. You should have given me a warning to avoid the problems I'm going through now. Look at the next example. We could have asked that question. We could have asked that question. So maybe you've just had a lesson, and then after the lesson, one of your classmates comes to you and asks you something about the lesson, and you realize you also have no clue what the answer is. Then you can say to your classmate, we could have asked that question during the lesson. We could have asked that question during the lesson, meaning you should have asked the question. Look at the last example. He could have told me the truth. He could have told me the truth. So maybe you realize that your friend has been lying about something. Then you can say, he could have told me the truth. So he should have told you the truth. Okay? In all those three examples, we are using could plus have plus the past tense of the verb. Look at all the verbs in that, in example 5. Warned, asked, told. Okay, so you can see warned is the past tense of warn. Ask, asked. Asked is the past tense of ask. Told. Told is the past tense of tell. Okay? And this brings me to the end of our lesson today on the modal verbs can, could, and be able to. Remember to be able to use these verbs correctly, either in a test or in writing or in your day-to-day life. Remember the rules. And most importantly, remember, never ever use can and be able to in the same sentence. Okay? I hope that you have found this lesson informative and useful. If that is the case, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. Remember to share this video with your friends, family members, and your classmates or anybody else who needs it. That will be beneficial to them, but that will also help me grow this channel and encourage me to keep uploading more videos to help you improve your level of English even further. If you have any questions, remember to put them in the comment section. I will be more than happy to help you with that. Thank you very much, and see you in our next lesson. Bye bye, and take really good care of yourself.